Have you ever woken up and felt like your body is telling a different story now? A story about aching knees that greet you in the morning, or about that moment of hesitation at the top of the stairs, where you reach for the railing just to be safe. For many of us, we simply accept this as a part of getting older. A truth we just have to live with. But what I'm about to tell you might change the way you think about that. We often dismiss a little wobble, a moment of unsteadiness. But here is the nightmare that no one talks about. Every single one of those moments could lead to a fall. And sobering research from trusted institutions, like the Mayo Clinic, shows that for anyone over 60, a single fall can change everything, altering your independence forever. The shocking part? Studies show that nearly 30% of these life-changing falls are entirely preventable. As someone who has spent my entire career caring for families, I need to tell you something with absolute certainty. You do not have to live in fear. This slow decline in strength, it is not a life sentence. I'm not talking about theories from a textbook. I'm talking about reality. I will never forget my patient, Margaret, a wonderful 76-year-old woman. A bad fall left her dependent on a walker for nearly a year. In her heart, she believed she would never again walk through her beloved garden by herself. But today, she is. In this video, I'm not here to scare you. I am here to hand you a lifeline. I will be sharing 3 simple, foundational exercises that cost nothing. Exercises you can do right in the comfort of your living room to rebuild your strength, reclaim your balance, and win back your freedom. And please, make sure you watch all the way to the end. Because the final piece of advice I'll share isn't just an exercise. It's a powerful shift in mindset. A small secret that could be the key to protecting you, or someone you love, for years to come. Before we dive in, I truly want to know how many of us have faced this. If the story I've just described feels familiar to you, please take a moment and comment a simple yes below. It lets me know you understand, and it shows others in our community that they are not alone. Alright, let's begin. Alright, let's get started. We're going to begin with our 3 foundational exercises. Exercise number 1. The plank, rebuilding your foundation from the core. So many of us believe that strength, real, functional strength, comes from our arms and our legs. And of course, they are incredibly important. But over my many years of practice, I've learned that the true foundation for every steady movement we make, whether it's walking across a room, bending down to pick up a grandchild, or simply standing tall, it all begins in one place: your core. Think of your core muscles as the central pillar of your entire body. When that pillar is strong, everything else is stable. But when it weakens, which is a natural tendency as we age, we begin to see the consequences. We start to experience that dull, nagging ache in the lower back that never seems to fully go away. We might catch a glimpse of our reflection in a shop window and notice that we're stooping forward, just a little more than we used to. We find ourselves using our hands to push off from a chair to stand up. These are not just random signs of getting older. They are signals. They are your body's way of telling you that its central pillar, its core, needs attention. Now, the plank, at first glance, doesn't look like much of an exercise. There's no movement, no lifting, no sweating in the traditional sense. It's an exercise of stillness. But in that stillness lies its incredible power. The plank is designed to wake up and activate the deep, stabilizing muscles in your abdomen and along your spine. I like to describe these muscles to my patients as a natural back brace, or an internal corset that we all possess. When this internal brace is strong and engaged, it takes an enormous amount of pressure off your spinal column. It holds you upright, effortlessly. The reason this becomes so critically important after 60 is directly linked to the aging process. As the years go by, if we don't actively use these deep core muscles, they tend to go to sleep. They become dormant. And when they do, other muscles, particularly those in our lower back, are forced to overcompensate. They have to do a job they were never designed for, day in and day out. That is the very root of so much of the chronic lower back pain that plagues millions of older adults. It's not necessarily that your back is bad, but that the muscles meant to support it have simply forgotten their job. The plank is the gentle, powerful reminder they need. And this isn't just a theory I have. This is backed by solid, scientific evidence. Research published in the esteemed Journal of Physical Therapy Science has clearly demonstrated that regular core stabilization exercises, like the plank, significantly reduce lower back pain and improve what we call functional movement in older adults. Functional movement is simply your ability to perform everyday tasks with ease and without pain. But sometimes, facts and figures only tell part of the story. To truly understand the impact of this simple exercise, you have to see it through someone's eyes. Let me tell you about Linda. Linda is a wonderful 68-year-old retired schoolteacher who came to one of my community wellness workshops a while back. When she walked in, she moved with a certain caution, a hesitation in her steps that told a story of fear. She confessed to me that her persistent lower back pain had been her unwelcome companion for over 5 years. It had stolen her joy in gardening and made her afraid of picking up her own grandchildren. When I introduced the group to a modified version of the plank, Linda was skeptical. She got down on the mat, propped herself on her forearms and knees, and with a deep breath, she lifted her hips. She held it for maybe 7 seconds before her arms began to shake and she had to lower herself down, breathless. But as I walked over, I didn't see frustration on her face. I saw a small, determined smile. The next day, she tried again in her own living room. 10 seconds. A few days later, 15. She made it her mission. It wasn't about setting records. It was about reclaiming something she had lost. 3 weeks after that first workshop, Linda sent me an email. She told me she could now hold her knee plank for a full 40 seconds. But that wasn't the real news. The real news was that for the first time in years, she had spent an entire afternoon in her garden, and had woken up the next morning without that familiar, debilitating ache in her back. The pain wasn't just better. It was gone. In her email, she wrote something I'll never forget. She said, "This little move didn't just strengthen my stomach. It reminded me that I still have strength inside me. I just needed to wake it up again." Linda's story is not a miracle. It's a testament to the body's incredible ability to heal and rebuild at any age. It's about the power of small, consistent efforts. If Linda's journey resonates with you, if you believe in that inner strength that's just waiting to be woken up, I'd be so grateful if you would comment the word strong below. It's a way for us to affirm that commitment to ourselves and to each other. So, how can you start this journey right now, just like Linda did? I want you to start gently. You do not need to attempt a full 60-second plank on your toes. That's not the goal today. The goal is to begin. Here is the gentle, beginner version. First, find a soft surface, like a carpeted floor or a yoga mat. Lie on your stomach for a moment. Then, gently prop yourself up so your weight is on your forearms and your knees. Make sure your elbows are directly under your shoulders. Now, look down at the floor, keeping your neck in a nice, long line with your spine. Lift your hips so that your body, from your knees to your head, forms a straight line. Imagine your back is a sturdy coffee table, and you don't want anything to spill. Gently tighten your stomach muscles. Just a little. As if you're bracing for a friendly poke. And now, just hold it. Breathe. Count to 10. Slowly. That's it. Then gently lower your hips back down and rest. I want you to try that 2 or 3 times. Always listen to your body. You should feel your muscles working, a sense of effort. But you should never feel a sharp, pinching pain. If you do, stop and readjust. Remember, your progress is yours alone. Holding this for 10 seconds today is a monumental victory. It is the first step in rebuilding your foundation from the inside out. It's a promise to yourself that you are, and always will be, strong. Exercise number 2. The bird dog, reclaiming your balance and coordination. Now, let's talk about something that I believe is one of the deepest, most unspoken fears that comes with aging. It isn't the wrinkles or the gray hair. It's the feeling that your own body is no longer a reliable friend. It's that split second of panic when you turn around too quickly and the room seems to spin for a moment. It's the hesitation you feel when walking across an uneven lawn, where the ground suddenly feels unpredictable. This loss of balance, this erosion of trust between your mind and your body, is what quietly steals our confidence and shrinks our world, forcing us to think twice before doing things we once did without a second thought. This is where our second exercise, the bird dog, comes in. It might have a playful name, but its purpose is profoundly serious. The bird dog performs a small miracle of neuroscience. It forces the left and right hemispheres of your brain to communicate directly and efficiently. When you lift your right arm and your left leg at the same time, you are creating a diagonal line of stability across your body. You are actively rebuilding the neural pathways that are responsible for coordination and balance. Think of it as reintroducing two old friends, the left side of your body and the right side, and reminding them how to work together in perfect harmony. The reason this exercise is so essential as we get older is that these communication lines, these neural pathways, can become a little rusty from disuse. Our movements often become smaller, less varied. We don't climb trees or play hopscotch anymore. Over time, the brain's ability to make instantaneous adjustments to maintain balance can slow down. That's why our reaction time might not be as sharp as it once was when we trip over the edge of a rug. It's that slight delay in communication that can be the difference between catching yourself and having a serious fall. Do you ever feel just a little bit clumsy? Perhaps when you're reaching for a glass on a high shelf, or trying to put on your socks while standing up. Do you find yourself placing a hand on the wall for support more often? These are not signs of failure. They are simply symptoms that the magnificent communication network between your brain and your body needs a gentle tune-up. And the science on this is absolutely clear. Studies published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity have repeatedly shown that exercises focusing on this cross-lateral movement, making opposite limbs work in unison, significantly improve motor control, stability, and reaction time in adults over 60. It's one of the most effective ways to train your body to automatically correct itself when you lose your balance. But to truly grasp what this means, I want to tell you about Arthur. Arthur is a 74-year-old retired architect, a man whose entire life was built on precision, symmetry, and an intuitive understanding of balance. After a minor stroke, he recovered his ability to speak and think clearly, but something was off. He told me, with deep frustration in his voice, that his own body felt asymmetrical. He said, "It feels like the left side of me is a stranger to the right." Walking across a room was an exhausting, deliberate effort. His confidence was completely shattered. He had resigned himself to using a cane, not because he was weak, but because he simply couldn't trust his own feet. We started with the bird dog. At first, it seemed impossible. He could barely lift one hand off the floor without his entire body wobbling. So we started smaller. He just focused on shifting his weight. Then, lifting a hand for 1 second. Then a leg. It was a slow, patient process. There were days he felt like giving up. But week by week, something began to reconnect. After about a month of daily practice, he held the full pose, one arm forward, the opposite leg back, for 5 steady seconds. He lowered his limbs, looked up at me, and for the first time in months, I saw a spark of his old self. He said with a quiet sense of awe, "I feel centered. I feel like my body knows what it's doing again." Arthur eventually put his cane in the closet, and it has stayed there ever since. He didn't just regain his balance. He regained his sense of self. If you too want to feel that steady, confident connection with your body, that feeling of being centered and in control, please take a moment and comment the word balance below. It's a powerful affirmation that you are ready to reclaim that trust in yourself. Now, let me guide you through this elegant and powerful movement. We will do it the gentle way. First, come down onto your hands and knees on a soft surface. If your knees are sensitive, please place a folded towel or a small cushion underneath them for comfort. Position your hands directly under your shoulders, and your knees directly under your hips. Spread your fingers wide for a stable base. Imagine your back is a perfectly flat tabletop. You could place a cup of tea there, and it wouldn't spill. Now, engage your stomach muscles, just as we did with the plank. Pull your belly button gently in towards your spine. Very slowly, as if moving through water, extend your right arm straight forward. At the same time, extend your left leg straight back. The goal is not to lift high, but to reach long. Keep your hips level and your back flat. Hold this for just 5 seconds. Breathe. Then, with the same slow control, return your hand and knee to the floor. Now, we repeat on the other side. Extend your left arm forward, and your right leg back. Hold, breathe, and return. Remember, wobbling is not a sign of failure. Wobbling is your brain and your body learning to talk to each other again. It's part of the process. This beautiful exercise doesn't just build strength, it builds harmony. Exercise number 3, lunges, stepping into strength and independence. We now arrive at our third and final exercise. And in many ways, it is the most symbolic. Think about the actions that define our independence. Climbing the stairs to go to bed. Getting up from a low-slung sofa after a visit with family. Stepping in and out of the car. Bending down in the garden. Each of these movements requires strength in our legs. Leg strength is not a luxury. It is the currency of our freedom. When it fades, our world begins to shrink. The fear of not being able to get back up can keep us from sitting on the floor to play with our grandchildren. The challenge of a steep driveway can keep us from visiting a friend. The lunge is a direct antidote to this. It is one of the most important functional movements we can do because it perfectly mimics the very actions of life. Stepping forward, lowering ourselves with control, and powering back up. A lunge is a practice for living. It strengthens every critical muscle in your lower body. Your quadriceps at the front of your thighs, your hamstrings at the back, and most importantly, your glutes. These are your powerhouse muscles. They are what propel you forward, what lift you, and what catch you when you stumble. The biological reason this is so vital is that after age 50, we all face a condition called sarcopenia, which is simply the natural, age-related loss of muscle mass. It happens to everyone. But the key word here is natural, not unstoppable. This process can be dramatically slowed down, and even reversed, with simple strength training. When you feel your legs getting heavy after a short walk, or you notice yourself relying on your arms to push up from a chair, that is sarcopenia making. Its presence known. It is your body's signal that your leg muscles are asking for a challenge to stay strong and vital. The American College of Sports Medicine, one of the most respected health organizations in the world, has stated that lower body strength is one of the single most important predictors of an older adult's ability to live independently. Think about that. The strength in your thighs and glutes could be the deciding factor in whether you can continue to live safely and confidently in your own home. This brings me back to Margaret, the remarkable 76-year-old woman I mentioned at the beginning. The woman who, after a devastating fall, found herself completely reliant on a walker. The physical object of the walker was one thing, but the emotional weight was far heavier. She told me the hardest part was the loss of her identity. She had always been the walker, the one who went to the farmer's market every Saturday morning. The walker made her feel, in her own words, erased. Her physical therapist started her with lunges. Not the deep lunges you see in a gym, but tiny, supported movements. She would stand holding onto the kitchen counter and just practice stepping 1 foot forward. That was it. At first, she said it was more frustrating than empowering. Her legs trembled, but she trusted the process. Slowly, the step became a bit longer. Then, she added a tiny bend in her knees. Week by week, she held onto the counter less and trusted her own legs more. The day she walked a full half-mile outside without her walker, she said it was more triumphant than graduating from college. Each lunge she had practiced in her kitchen was a deposit in her bank of freedom. She told me, with tears in her eyes, every lunge felt like I was taking back a piece of myself. I wasn't just strengthening my legs, I was stepping back into my own life. Margaret's story is a powerful reminder that we can always move forward. If you are ready to take that step, to reclaim your own pieces of freedom, I invite you to declare it by commenting the single word forward below. So, let's learn how to take that first, safe step together. Safety is everything here. We will start with a modified lunge, using support. Please stand next to a sturdy chair, a kitchen counter, or a wall. Place one hand on it for balance. Stand with your feet together. Now, take a comfortable step forward with your right foot. Not a giant leap, just a natural step. Keeping your chest lifted and your back straight, gently bend both of your knees. Lower your body down just a few inches. The key here is that your front knees should stay behind your toes. Go down only as far as you feel stable and comfortable. This is not about depth, it's about control. Now, push through the heel of your front foot to rise back up to your starting position. That is 1 repetition. I want you to start by doing just 5 on your right leg, then switch and do 5 on your left leg. As you do this, feel the muscles in your thighs and glutes engage. This is the feeling of building strength. This is the feeling of building independence. Every single lunge is a declaration that you are in charge of your body, and you are still moving forward. As we come to a close, I want you to hold a few images in your mind. First, I want you to picture Linda, the retired schoolteacher. See that warm, genuine smile on her face. The one that comes from waking up without that old familiar ache in her back for the first time in years. That is the feeling of rediscovering a foundation you thought was long gone. Then, I want you to think of Arthur, the architect. Picture him standing in the middle of his living room, no cane in sight, feeling truly centered in his own body again. That is the feeling of reclaiming harmony and trust in yourself. And finally, let's not forget Margaret. Picture her taking those first, unaided steps back into her beloved garden, a place she thought she had lost forever. The sunlight on her face, the feeling of the soft earth beneath her feet. That is the feeling of stepping back into your own life, with strength and with independence. These wonderful people, Linda, Arthur, and Margaret, they are not superheroes. They don't have special genetics or secret formulas. They are just like you. They are mothers, fathers, grandparents, and neighbors who simply made a choice. They decided to begin again, with one small, hopeful step. And that brings us to the single most important message I hope you take away from our time together today. Your body. Your body has a profound, almost miraculous ability to heal, to adapt, and to grow stronger. No matter what the calendar says, you are not too old. And it is absolutely, certainly not too late to begin. The strength to stand tall, the balance to walk with confidence, and the freedom to live your life without that constant, nagging fear in the back of your mind. It is all still within your reach. As we wrap up, we've explored these 3 simple, but life-changing, foundational movements. But knowledge, as they say, is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important final question for you. What is the one small commitment you are willing to make to yourself, starting this week? It could be as simple as, I will try a 10-second plank tomorrow morning. Or, I will do 3 supported lunges on each leg while the coffee brews. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be a start. Please share your personal commitment in the comments below. Let's fill the space below not just with comments, but with promises. Your story, your single promise, might be the spark of inspiration that someone else needs to begin their own journey. And if you found real value and hope in our time together today, a simple like on this video helps this message reach more people who truly need to hear it. To make sure you continue on this journey with us, and never miss another conversation full of practical wisdom, please hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a warm and growing community of people dedicated to living their golden years with strength, with dignity, and with joy. Together. And finally, think of one person in your life. Just one. A spouse, a sibling, a dear friend, who you feel needs this message of hope. Please, share this video with them. You truly might be giving them a gift that changes their life. Thank you so much for your time and your trust. Stay healthy, stay strong, and I look forward to seeing you again in our next video.